Good morning, everyone. So thank you all here. Yeah. So welcome our speaker for this training session. I'll be handing over to him now. He's now the moderator of the event. So uh, Sulaiman Olaiwaju is a CSWE certified SolidWorks expert, and he'll be taking us through this training session. That's for CSWA. So we believe that anyone that attends this training at the end should be should be ready to take the CSWA exam. So good luck, everyone. Mr. Sulaiman Olaiwaju, sir. No, sorry, he's an engineer Sulaiman.
Please. Good morning, everybody. Enough with the flattery, allow Bilal. So, very nice to be here to give you guys tips and all you need to pass your CSWA. So, let me start by sharing my screen. I hope everyone can hear me. Hello, Bilal, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes, yes, we can.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Anila. Sorry, I'm just having a little bit difficulty. So can everybody see my slide?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
So I'm going to be taking you guys I'm going to be taking you guys kickstarting your SolidWorks journey. That is your CSWA bootcamp. I won't take much of our time. So welcome to Lagos SWUG. My name is Waju Sulaimon. As most of you know, I got to know about CAD in 2017. I got my CSWA like 4 years ago. Was it 4 years ago? No, that's 3 years ago. So I am so much invested in CAD because it's actually gives me that creator vibe. Like I'm creating something. I'm doing something like from the fresh from the start. And I hope this lesson. I'm not going to spend too much time talking about myself. Yes, so just the basic thing about me is that uh, I'm the first CSW, CSWP, and CSWA from CSWE from the University of Lagos, and through me, several people have gotten certified in SolidWorks. SolidWorks is an amazing software. Actually, it's just a tool, but it's not just a tool; it's more than a tool. Because it starts with your instincts. What can you do? What can you vision in your mind that you can now bring to reality? So that is what SolidWorks is used for. So anybody can use it, whether it's an hobbyist, whether it's a maker, whether it's just a designer that you just want to design stuff and just actualize it. So SolidWorks can do that. So, so what are we going to be dealing today? So we're going to be dealing with what is CSWA, what do you need to pass, the part one, which is the part creation, the part two, which is part modification. The part three is the assembly, but I don't think we are going to be dealing with that today. That will be in another session. So let's just focus on these two main things because the assembly part is usually just maybe 3 to 4 questions out of everything, but this part one and part two is actually the main ones that I like everyone to really focus on. What is CSWA? So CSWA is more than a badge. It's an entry level certification that validates your fundamental skills using SolidWorks actually. So most people, due to their proficiency, like yeah, I know how to use this software very well. So I don't really need to do this and that. But I feel every SolidWorks user should start from the associate level. Always start at the beginning so that you don't get overwhelmed as you go ahead in the journey. Do you understand me? So it's for students, beginners, and professionals that want to start their journey and portfolio packing in engineering. So duration is usually just 3 hours. But most CSWAs that I've talked to, like including me, I don't think I use up to 3 hours. This is not because of I'm bragging or anything. The exam is simple, but you have to be very, very careful in giving answers. So the exam is usually from 14 to 18 questions, and it requires you to build models, to modify a model, and you have to be very time conscious when dealing with such exams. So what do you need to pass? What are the requirements? So this is one of the simplest, as I've said earlier. Uh, but your main focus should be what? What is actually the question? It's always very, very key to understand the question. Same thing goes with. I know most of us here are students, so it goes with your real life exam. Hello, can you guys hear me? Please, I need a confirmation so that I don't just keep talking and not.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So, what is actually the question? Read. It's always very important to read and digest the question before answering, even if it is an oral question, even if you don't get it the first time. So, it's better to always ask, like, can you repeat the question? It's very important. So, units too. You all know this as engineering students, like most of you. Your unit is very important. Your IPS system is different from your SI system, is different from your MKGS system. So the next one is the material. Yes, very, very key. Sometimes you design a very, very sweet model, you be like, wow, I did it in how many minutes? And let me just give answer directly, and you're gonna give the wrong answer. Why? Because the material is very important. And what does this actually do? Actually, the material is important in in what aspect? That is the density of the material. So the density of the material is what is going to use to determine the mass of the part you are working with. I hope you guys are getting me. So make sure the material given in the question is what is applied to what you are given. Then for to make sure that you don't have any hiccups while doing this exam, it's very, very advisable, not compulsory. You have to, I think, 2 laptops, just one for the question, while the other one for modeling. That is actually working, doing the modeling, doing the card, like answering the question, so that you can just be using one to just enter answer, while you are using the other one to actually model the component given. But if you can manage, if you can find a way to, like, I don't know, if you can connect it to an external motor, so it's okay. But sometimes I make mistake with the dual display. So, but some pros, like, now Bilal and everything, they don't need 2 laptops to be doing exam, considering how many certifications they passed in the last few days. People like Jair and Co. So I digress. So another thing is your save copy as option. For each answer you've given, for each question you've answered, it's always good to save copy as and open each file as an entire new file. You get, like maybe you save the question one with Q1, the question before you answer question two, save it as Q2. Before you answer question, you save it as Q3 and so on and so forth. So shortcuts too are very important in this game. And shortcuts can be gotten from the um, S key. So you type your X, you this thing that I know most of you now you don't really know have much options there, but you can actually add the option that you needed for your software. So skipping questions too to the easier ones. This one too applies to real life in engineering. In engineering, to be doing an exam or doing test and you don't understand question, so it's not a must to answer question two first. You can skip to the next genre of question and just start from that section and you can now come back to the previous question. So in this case, in CSWA, one thing you should know is that the first question for a particular type of a particular section is usually the options are given. So you have to work towards getting an answer in the given option. And also you have to be very careful because there are some answers too that you needed that are wrong. So make sure that what you are doing is what you are getting. You get the first question right, which is among the options. After you have already what applied the material and what use the required units. Then from that question, from that first question, then you can now start answering previous subsequent questions. Like the subsequent question will be just okay, change this variable, change this equation, change this dimension. So that is what you usually are. So if you have gotten the first question and you just go to your table and you change the dimension, then easily you can do all the necessary, all the required stuff, all that is required. So let's go to the next slide. So let's go to part one, part creation. So the first question was they will always ask you to what part, the part that is shown. You'll be given the orthographic views. Actually, one of the images will be in display. Then you can now select the remaining 3 to 4 images that are below the main images that are displayed. So it's just like a slide too. So once you click 2, 3, 4, 5 to bring them like and you can zoom in and out of each question. So first thing you should do is just change your units and that is done at the right bottom corner of your system. You will see it there. Then the next one is save your work. Then you type in your equations or your global variables. That is variables given. The variables is usually in A, B, C, D. I don't think you normally get to E. But just make sure you type all these things. I'll show you where to type all these your global variables in your equation. Then you apply your materials. It's very, very important. Very, very important to apply your materials. That's why I say you should always, the first thing you should work, digest your question. That should be even with number one. Digest the question, but I've already stated it here that you should always read and understand the question. So now let's get started. So looking at this material now, I don't want to be like, because of the time, let me just quickly start. No, study the isometric view, study all the front view and the side view. I hope you guys can see the slides clearly.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Why is it that it's only Bilal that is answering me? I hope others are muted.
Yes, we can see.
Okay. So question says view this part in SolidWorks. Use the values below for global variables and find the mass of the part in grams. So let's go back to our previous list. Digest the question, what unit is required, what materials will be required. So let's pick it first. We know that our unit system here is what mmgs. So that is millimeter gram second. Usually what is given most of the time. But there's also the IPS. I think they normally switch between mmgs and IPS system. So always take note of that. And they ask you what to find the mass. Now the global variables given is what? A 38 mm, B 12 mm, and C 3 mm. If you notice, if you look at the diagram, that is the plan and the front view and the section view, you will notice that those variables are located there. Like, look at the first one now. I don't know if you can see my cursor. These B parts, instead of them putting 12, they put the B side. The fillet in this area is what? C. The thickness all round, the value of what? C. The distance between these two concentric circles is what? B. Then DD, this DD is the section name. So if you look at the section view too, please, anytime you see a question, always be calm. There's no question that you can't answer, and it's always best to do it to the best of your knowledge. I know, like, yes, I'm supposed to be conscious of time since we are like but we are not simulating an exam here. I'm just telling you how to go about it. And again, other things you should notice about the question is the decimal places, the material type, and the density, because there are some materials that are repeated in SolidWorks library. So you have to make sure you are using the right density, but that one is not actually a problem. So far as you type the material, that is, and the material is what? Polybutadiene here, that is PB. So once you want to change the material, you just what? Type in this in the material and what? And notice I'm not supposed to put I'm not supposed to show the value of the mass here, but this mass here is wrong. Let me just change that. So as I was saying, so let's go ahead and start. So make sure before you start your exam, make sure your SolidWorks is already running. If possible, you already even started the new part already. So Control N for a new part, select it, and let's start. So as I said, the first thing is what? As you come to the bottom right corner of your PC and we'll change it to MMGS. As you can see, there are several options here. They always give you in IPS or MMGS. So select MMGS. Material, change your material from the select your material. So just type in the material here, polybutadiene, you've already given here. Then you click on what? Apply and close. Make sure the density rhymes with the one given in the question, that is 970. And then you close. So we've done like 2 out of the 3 main stuff needed. Let's go back to the third one is what units, what is the actual question. So we've digested the question, we've already changed the unit, and we've already applied the material. Then save your work. You can save your work immediately, even without even sketching anything. So let's just save our work as Q1. Remember, you cannot use this save as copy and continue yet. So let's this is your first question. So let's just save it and let's dive right in. So start with the sketching. I usually sketch most of the distance. Looking at the question, it looks like a top play question. So I'm going to start from the plan. That is the top play. So another thing is, if you see a question like this, though you will not see questions. Most of the questions, some questions are actually some models actually symmetrical nature, like the way it is. So what do I mean by symmetrical? If you look at the question again, let's go back to the question. You notice that it's a this question, this model given here, this picture is something that you can actually design half of it, and just after you are done with extruding and doing all the applying all the necessary features, then you can just mirror it and just get your answer. That saves you time doing stuff like this. So I'm going to start with, I'm not going to do that one first because it might sound complicated. So I'm just going to do the basic, draw this circle, uh, offsets inside, draw this circle, offset inside, then draw this circle, offset inside. If you can even do that, then first you have already gotten the basic stuff. So the basic stuff of what you need. So let's start that. So the next is to what, draw these lines and make sure that what, they are tangential to this circle. Which of the four lines, outer lines, or they are tangential to this circle. Let's just quickly do that. That shouldn't take time. Circles. Let's just do this. So one of you can just start drawing roughly and what, use your constraint to modify everything later on. Like the way I normally made this circle. And so let's start with just getting what we need. Now I want to make this circle and this circle concentric. Oh, first, if you notice, this circle now you can move it any way you like. Why? Because it's not constrained to location. So let's just try to make it what, horizontal with the origin. So what did I do now? I click the center of the circle and I click the center of the origin, and I what? And it brought out options here, disappearing options or balloon options that you can just what, select out of. So make horizontal is what I chose now. If you can't do that, you can just come to your left hand side and just add the relation needed, which is what, your horizontal. So let's just, the next thing is to make this circle and this circle concentric. Remember, you can just make it, you can offset it, but it depends on you. Anyone that makes it easier for you. So I'm selecting this circle, and while holding control, make sure if you are selecting things, you are holding your control, your shift key. So I've held my control while selecting this tool. It got options. Is it co-radial? We don't need co-radial. Is it tangential? No, but it's concentric we want. That's why I've selected is concentric. I'll also come here and what, and choose it. And each existing relation will always show you once you select a particular item or object, a particular object. Like now, if you select this circle now, you see the existing relation under it. You see that it's nothing, no circle. But if you select, so let's just keep going. So from this now, I think we can just reduce this. If you click and drag, you notice that you can reduce it. Now let's use the line to join this to just draw any line. It's not a must to touch it because you have to be very careful when drawing these lines. Shortcut for line is L. So you see how I did these lines now. It's already showing that this line is on out to this section, and I didn't mean for it to be like that. So any constraint that you feel that is obstructing you or anything, let me even do, you can just come here and delete it. So we are still going to need them. I don't need any line, any constraint, any relation yet. So this line now, we want to make it tangential and coincidental with this circle, same as this line too. We want to make it same as this circle, we want to make it tangential to this line and coincident to it. So let's just do that now. So line, let's make it coincident first. This and this. You selected them now, then you come here, then you make it what, coincident first. This point, this vertex of that line and this. So I want to make it what, coincident also. So the next thing is to make them what, tangential. How do you make it tangential? You cannot make a vertex tangential to a curve. That you can always make a line, a straight line tangential towards a curve. So while holding your control key, select the two of them and you want to click tangent. Same thing is done for this one too. Make sure you click out after you've held your control to select two entities, because now we are selecting a brand new entity. So we do that what to make it tangential. So we are up and around it. So the same thing is done for this two too. So sorry, I was not meant to delete that previous horizontal constraint. So I can just add it back. As you can see, this thing is moving. Our circle is moving. So you select both and what to make them horizontal back. So it always helps to always add symmetry lines. If you go back to our plan now, look at our mid line, our center line. It's always good to always what add them when you are modeling, when you are sketching, because it helps on the long run. Like now, maybe when you are done with this part, I want to mirror it to the other side. Do you understand? So as I said, we are going to, so let's just click on line first. That select construction in the options pane and click midpoint line. So starting from this midpoint, you just need to let it go to any even level. Doesn't matter. You can do the same thing to can do the same thing. That is the vertical part. You can do the same thing for the horizontal part too. So make sure it's straight and notice that if you are drawing this, there is actually uh, how will I put it? A increasing value, change of value as you are moving. That is to tell you the distance you've traveled, the angle. Like now it's showing that I'm traveling 124.55 mm at what 180 degrees. That is in a straight line. So make sure you notice that while you are modeling. And the constraint is showing that what coincident and what horizontal. So let's just make it what that and just stop. So notice that these two construction lines, they are not used as a measure of knowing if your sketch is what fully defined. So let's just keep going because of time, because we have to be conscious of that. Since we've already done this, you can just mirror it. You get, but we have to make sure that all dimensions that aha I knew I was going to make this. So let's just save this sketch first. We are supposed to have entered all our global variables first before we start sketching at all. So pardon me for that error. So it's to show that even we experts we make mistakes too. So nobody's above mistake. So let's get that going. So you come to your tools and you click on equations. So in this your equation table, you just come to your global variables. This is where you add everything. So we have our A, enter, enter the value. I think our value is 38. Our B, make sure they're in capital letters, please. B is 12. Make sure you are very sure. And our C, after I can see, is what 3 mm. So once you are done with that, confirm from your always check your questions very well. Let's see 12 very good. So do that. Then we'll go back to our sketch. So if you want to go back to your sketch, instead of coming here every time and clicking edit sketch, you can do that. You can just what click on the sketch and it will give you options, balloon options, and you come to what edit sketch. So now let's start with our dimension, the basic dimension. Now the set B is the obvious one here. So once you're mentioning, you have to be very careful. The distance between this circle and circle is what? So it's showing 9.6 now, but we don't need 9.6. No, we want to enter an equation, a global variable. So you always start with an equal to sign. Make sure you always start with an equal to sign. So you can now come down here. Then it will give you the options of your global variable that you saved with, and you select the right one. That is B. Then you click select. So there's difference between, now for example, let me just say I want to do the same thing for this. Maybe the dimension for this is, if I just go ahead and just type C and click this and said yes, it will just give me the actual dimension. It will not give me as an equation format that you are seeing here. Be careful about that. We have to be very, very careful about that. This equation sign, this summation sign is showing there. This will show you that what you entered, your global variable, is what is being implemented in this dimension. So another thing to do is what, go back to the question and look for the nearest easy dimension. So, okay, the dimension of that one too is B. So it's either you come here and put your equal sign, global variable, and select B. Be careful when doing this. So the dimension for this is not showing in the plan view, but if you check the section view here, you notice that what the dimension is given as what, diameter A multiplied by 2/3. So that's one thing about SOLIDWORKS. Instead of you going inputting it on your calculator, you can just come here, the smart dimension, click on it. Remember, start with your equal to sign, or the global variable that is based on the A, then multiply, add it there. Multiply by what? It's in brackets. 2 divided by 3. So just put it there. It will tell you immediately. So instead of you just cramming, so just put it there and it will give you the required stuff you need. So what other dimension there is given that you can make do it, like the dimension, the okay, like from here now we can see the diameter of this boss here, is given, that is diameter A times multiplied by 3. So you come here, so equals A. Make sure you select the A first. It will give this light blue color if you are inputting the dimension. It should that with the quotes, with the two semicolon quotes, it should that you are indicating a global variable times 3. So click on enter and this. So as you can see, the circle is already colored black. Why? It shows that this circle, both circles are already fully constrained positionally and one dimensionally. By position, they are constrained to the origin, which is at the center here. And dimensionally, you already given them dimension. So that's why you should be always careful when you are working with dimensions. So if this part that are showing blue now is to show that they are not fully constrained. So now the next one is to the distance between the two side bosses. That is this and this, which is what, 8 times 5. So to do this, since we've already indicated our midpoint line, so you just using your smart dimension, you click on this center and this, automatically it bring it. Make sure you extend your line. If you want to put it here, that means you are like saying, okay, you want dimension of just these two. But if you want the full dimension of the symmetric dimension, that is from the midpoint to the side boss, you have to shift your cursor to this side and what, enter the value. That is what equals to what, A, select it, times 5 and click equal to. So now always notice, come down to this your bottom corner here, you will notice it's showing you what, underdefined. That means you are not really You're not working with your fully defined features yet. So if I delete this line out, what is stopping me? What is stopping our sketch from being fully defined? Always press escape after you've already done the necessary dimension. What is stopping us? What is actually stopping us is because of this line that is what? Positionally unconstrained and dimensionally unconstrained. So if we delete it now, you see it's going to be fully defined because every other thing, like I told you earlier, your construction lines are not an avenue because this one too is not constrained dimensionally. But from it, you can notice that the main object you are working with, that is your lines and your circle. They are what fully. So from this now, you don't need to do any more stuff. You can just what mirror your way through. How do you mirror your way through? Using the mirror command here. Mirror this entity. What are we mirroring? We are mirroring this entity first. About what? You are mirroring about this horizontal center line. Oh, sorry. Your entity is the first box, and what your mirror about second one. Is select. So as you can see, it's still fully defined. So what do we need to do next? We just need to what mirror this half of it. This your right half on this other half. So that is including the lines and what the circles. So how do we do that? Same thing. Mirror these entities. You see how I selected them, dragging your cursor from bottom to top. It will select things that you don't need to. How do you do that? You just click it so that they get excluded from this your entities box here. Then what mirror about what you are mirroring about the vertical line now. So we've done that. Please be time conscious. I'm just doing this to make sure you guys are very conversant with fully defined sketch. So now that our is fully defined, we can now skip this. Make sure you save your work in case you are using a PC and maybe there's power interruption. But please, you have to be very careful when you're running an exam. You have to be very conscious of your PC power because once your time is reading, like once you start answering question and your PC goes off, to go back to it is usually strenuous. So make sure your battery is okay and if possible plugged in throughout when you are doing the exam as I'm about to do now. So from this now we can just start doing the basic extrusion. So from this from so the questions can be tricky because sometimes they will just give like now they give us the extrusion of what the side bosses that is 25 as you can see from here. So they gave us what from this extrusion from the top of the extrusion of the side boss to the bigger boss. They now give us another dimension. So I'm going to teach you a trick of that. So let's just do the basic extrusion of those ones first. So that is 25 and what and 38. You see all these ones are not global variables. Any other part that is a global variable, make sure that make sure that they are indicated there as a global variable. So let's go. So that is 25 first, then 38. Okay, let's go to features and extrude. So make sure this thin feature is not selected because sometimes it might be selected and you may be doing something that you're not supposed to do. So just make sure it's not selected. Select the contours. What are the contours? That is this and this. We are extruding what kindly to what 25 Make sure that is what done. So once you click on it, your sketch some sketch usually disappear. Yeah, it will even disappear. But you can still always get your sketch back. But clicking on the arrow beside this, your post that you just did, and click on the sketch to reuse it to extrude again. So as I've said earlier, select your contour. So this is the contour we are selecting now. It's giving us 25 but it's not 25 we need. We need what 25 plus 38 as described in the question. To make sure everything, since you are working with just one part, all your merge result is selected, since you are working with just one part and you're not working with multiple bodies. So we do that. So that one is done. So the next one is just to what extrude this part. Now let's look at the question again. From the question, you notice that the extrusion up to a point, that is the web between those two bosses, is 9 mm plus what C as indicated here. So make sure anytime you are doing that, you add the required value. So let's extrude that too. Select the sketch, extrude, contours. That is this part and this part. Now the values. To do this, you have to make sure you enter the value first. That is your C first. You come because here you press equal to sign. Yes, of course it will even give you equal to sign and you type C. Just do it. That is your C. Then plus what? 9 mm that was indicated there. So click enter and press OK. So notice that from the question, this small extrusion as you can see in this section is the word C. So I need to be fast. I need to be fast because this is already taking much of our time. So this is a cut extrude. This C value here is a cut extrude of this offsetted entity in both sides here. So don't let it confuse you. That's why from the section it's just this thin part that is what is being viewed here. So it's that part that is required to be what extruded downwards. So once you have done that, which is what once you have done the extrusion, we just need to what, do our offset and what extrude cut. So there's difference between what extrude boss and what extrude cut. So now let's just go ahead and do that. Once you are done with this now, then you just click on either of these web and what sketch on it. So once you are sketching on it, you go to your offset entities. So once you click your offset entity, be careful here. Select the entity first. That is this shape. Now, do you want the value? The value is given in the question. Let's check the value again so that we don't lose that. So they said thickness all round C. So that means the offset here, that is the thickness of your web is what C. So now delete this. Let's say we type equal to. So as I'm typing this equal to sign, I see it's not giving me the option to enter a value. So let's just enter any value first. Let's give it like maybe 5, and it's in reverse, because if you did not click this reverse, that means you want your offset to be outside it, but it's the reverse one we need. So it's already what given it an offset value. As you can see, your sketch is what fully defined because it's an offset. You don't need to add any of that thing. So you now edit this dimension back. Make sure you edit it back, or because if you say you should enter the direct value of C, that is 3. For subsequent questions, if they give you the value be like C is already like maybe 10, and you don't change it here, it will affect it. So just come here, indicate it to your global variable and what select OK. Make sure you do that. So you can just do, let's just do only this one and we just mirror the next, because you don't need to be doing that for this one again to waste your time. So let's do that. Okay, I think it's best to fill it. Let's go to our sketch. fillet from here. Let's fillet from here. So these are fillets here. Sketch fillet. So let's here too you can enter the value like that. I don't know. Sorry, what's this? You have to just enter the value. So let's just say for the entities you want to place is this, this, and this. As I said, you have to go back and what change because they said our sketch fillet is what 8 times what C 8 times radius fillet radius. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But we have to do we can just work with one part and what mirror the other one. So come back here, zoom in and change the value by what equal to global variable C. So once done that, save your work. Sorry, exit the sketch environment, select your sketch, make sure you save your work and extrude cut. We are not extruding. So this extrude cut now we are now extrude cutting by what as indicated in the question, that is by C. So you see that C is used multiple times here. So you have to be very careful. Make sure those global variables are what are used, or else it will affect your subsequent SARs that you are in. So press enter. Everybody is following me. So we've done for one part. So let's show that it rhymes. We've done all the necessary stuff needed. Is there any extra stuff? Checking from this isometric, I don't think there's any other fillet needed. So we can just mirror directly right. So let's just mirror this feature to this other side. So you click on this and you click on mirror, click on mirror. You should ask for the face first. How do you get the face? Come back to your plane and select the right plane. So it depends on the plane you are working with. So anyone that you know that is actually a mirror plane, a symmetry plane to what you want to mirror is what you are going to select. So you do that and you just click OK. So is there any other thing? Make sure you check your positions very well. Check it very well. Have you added all these needed dimensions? Are all your sketches constrained? I think we've already done all the required thing. So the next thing, since we've already done our material, because some people is after they molded, they start applying material. It's always good to always apply the material first, except the next question indicates otherwise. So now let's just save our work. Remember, this one is what Q1. So let's just, how do we check our marks? Just come to your evaluate and click on your mass. So always make sure you select what is needed to be weighted, because there are some parts that are sometimes a multi-body stuff. They may just ask you for the mass of a particular bone and not the entire model. So select, make sure you select it. That is your Q1. It is what 346 grams. So make sure it's in the right decimal places. So take note of all these required distance. Sometimes they may ask for volume, sometimes they may ask for surface area of a part. They may ask for center of mass. So always take notes of this. So it's from this your mass properties you are going to get all that is required. So not once we, since we have gotten 346.49 grams, then we just save your work. So make, so if you've now gotten this, you, since it's the first question, you notice that the, you notice that it's in the, so as you can see our Q1 mass is what 346 grams. So now let's go to should I edit this? Let, uh, are you following? So from this, you can see that we got our mass right. That is 346.49. Usually SolidWorks usually take 0.05 plus or minus error percentage. So just try to make sure that your answer is precise. So from this first question now, that is your Q1. Your Q2 now say update your global variables using the following. That is 35, 10 2, and what? Tell us the mass and indicate and type it. Now this your next question require you to type your answer very question. Very, very careful when you are entering this value. So as I said earlier, you come here, if you want to answer the next one, save as copy and continue and indicate the Q2. Save is already open. Please choose a different name. Okay, I think I have a file named Q2 already. Okay, let's just give this one Q3 there. Or let us say, let's do this with Q speed 2 because I'm saving it in this place. Okay, so I now just come here to your equations. All the equations you've entered, they are indicated here. So right click on this equation and manage. So according to the question is what? 35, 10 2. So just change it here. 35, then 2. So once you just click OK, so rebuild, you can rebuild your work. That is, you want it to sometimes actually the building is automatic for most of the time, for most of the case, because sometimes if you don't rebuild and you check your math, it may give you the previous value of the mass you use. So just rebuild, save your work. Remember, is in save to save instead of save as now because you are working on it. So check your so instead of coming to evaluate and checking math property, you can just click on S, type in maths, and just on this button here, insert command. So instead of pressing this thing, you just come here and check S on your keyboard, and it will bring this option of what maths is. Let's do it. Then what? Select this to give you 267.50 gram. So let's confirm if we got the answer. Yes, our Q3 is even Q2. Sorry, I made an error here. It's supposed to be Q2. So the Q2 marks was 267.5. So we do the same thing for the next question, which is what 3262.5. So let's save. Then come here, save as again. Q3. Copy as. Save. So come here to your options, manage equations. So 32, have it? Let me check again. I hope you guys are following this indicator. We're almost done with part creation, and there's only one example we'll be doing from now. 32 6 2.5. 32 6 2.5. So it's always good to always select this automatically reviewed so that it will be reviewing it immediately as you are doing that, so that you don't need to be entering reviewed every time. So as you can see, the as you are changing those variables, they are changing very uh well. They are changing immediately. So I don't know if I indicated this earlier. Make sure you are using a mouse, please. The mouse is very key in modeling. So let's check our mouse. Press our shortcut key S. See 158.28. We get it. Let's check. Let's confirm. 158.2. So we've gotten that. So that will be all on our past creation. Do you have any questions? Anybody? Everybody? Any questions? Mr. Timitokwe?
Guys, though.
Uh, okay, Enila, you have a question. Let's see.
Okay, so thank you for that. And my question is, I don't know how to put as a question, Sha, but earlier this week when I was doing something similar and
Okay.
revising a CSWA question, when I was
Okay.
done to check the mass was not the exact value as the answer. It was, I think it was in within the plus or minus, I think 0.1%, but it was close, but it was not the exact value. I don't know what was wrong because I did everything because I even had to go to YouTube to like follow the guy. Let me just quickly follow him because there are many ways you can build a part. So even
Yeah.
after I followed him, it was still not the same exact value. It was close, but it wasn't the same thing. Why?
Like, how many percent close are you talking about? Like, is it something like
Like I said, it
3.59,
was
3.58,
no,
something
it
like that?
was like let's say 1,050 something, 1,030 something. Do you get
1,000
1059,
So,
10?
well, first thing first, I'll start by saying maybe when you were modeling, there are some of your sketch. Are you sure were all your sketches fully defined?
Yes, it was.
Yes. Okay.
It
And they
was.
appeared black because that is another thing that normally cause issues. And again, are you sure that
Um,
all your global variables, like where is indicated C, I hope is you did not enter the main value, because sometimes you enter the main value and like what we've done so far now, if you are required to change that value of C, instead of going back to that value that you entered directly, it will automatically change every value of C to the newest one. So that's another thing that can
like
cause
the
all those errors.
initial one, like the initial one without before changing the global variables, the first instance is what I'm talking about. Yeah, but
You say what? Please come in. Please can you
like
repeat?
it's it's the first instance because
Okay.
I just learned a new thing that you have to put the equal to sign first before you because I was also wondering
Yeah,
why
very,
my
very
own was not
important.
changing because I tried changing it but it would only change in the feature tree, it won't change on the sketch, but now I've seen why. But like
Okay.
initially when inputting the first values without changing the global variables, the first part, first ABC. So does that still also have to be in the equation symbol? It's still the same dimension
Yes, every
now.
dimension,
Okay.
whether you, even if it's extrusion too. Another thing that can help you when you are modeling. Let me go back to the model. Okay, let's close this. Look at this now. If you want to actually know, maybe, and again, another error that you could have made, maybe misentering some values. Like now, you want to quickly know the dimension of what you've done so far. If you click on all these values, it will show all the dimensions you've entered. So you can use that one as an overview to know. You'll be comparing and contrasting directly. Like is what 6, 160, 96. All these values, I know that sometimes you do the settings that okay, you want it to be showing just the global variable. I think that one is in display or something. That one is in setting, but is a that one is a this thing. So you can just from here you can even edit values instead of like going to the sketch, going to the extrusion, this thing. But you have to be very careful when doing that. Like for this one now, if you double click on this, it will direct you back that okay, if you want to enter this, since you are not entering, you're just going to click on what store. So we have to be careful. If you click on the second box too, it will show you the dimension of the sketch and of the feature. The one in blue is the feature dimension, that is the extrude dimension. While the one in black is the word sketch. Same thing goes for this. Like this one now, it shows what, like all the dimension of the sketch. Since it's just one sketch you use for like 3D extrusion, so that's why it's showing the same sketch. And what, this 11.5 as the what, the extrusion value, extrude. You see now, if you complete cut extrude, you see that it's only showing our offset values and our fillet values, which is in sketch, and what, the value of the C. This is the new value of C, that is 2.5 mm. I just changed now. So I don't know if that answers your question. There are many
Yes,
possible ways.
yes,
Maybe you didn't get
yeah,
a particular geometry well, you didn't get a particular, you used the wrong fillet. That's why another thing, you be very, very careful with your fillets, your rounds. That's why you always know how to interpret question very well, because they are very important. Like now, there are some times they will give you a fillet of maybe 0.8, 0.5 for a particular part, and if you don't indicate it in the other part, like now, let me just fillet this part now, for example, and show you something. We got 158.28 grams now. Now let me just add a fillet here. Let's change the value to the, say, 0.5. Okay. So if you check the mass of this thing back now, you'll notice that it has changed. That is 158.29, which is different from the previous 158.28. So all those kind of key features are very important when you are dealing with, when you are modeling. Generally, it's not even about exams now. When you are maybe working professionally, trying to model a very important part.
all right, thank you
Is
very
that
much.
all?
Yes.
Is there any questions? Do you have any other question from the attendees? Let me check. Let me go back to Nova. Any other question, Mr. Judah, Mr. Vinay, Mr. Joseph? Let me quickly answer some chat room questions. Eniola, you said teachers assembly. I know assembly is very important, but for now, I think we have to schedule another session for assembly. Uh, the all recordings will be shared by Bilal later after the meeting, Mr. Victor.
Okay. Okay,
Uh,
that sounds confirmed.
okay, you can even get it directly from the baby page. You just need to log in and go back to past classes, and you just see anyone you like and just play it. That's why everything is always recorded. Any tips and tricks for the exam? I think I've been talking about tips and tricks so far, Mr. Vivek. And Abdusalam Bello says, how do you factor in tolerance for the professional setting? Okay, I think this one is quite out of, because our topic today is for passing exams, passing our CSWA exam, Abdusalam Bello. So if you want to factor tolerance, that one requires adding it directly from your dimensions. Like there are options there for adding tolerance, but I don't want to digress because this is like an associate preparation exam preparation. So do you get, Mr. Abdusalam Bello? This is just for the tolerance stuff can be added, but that is for when you are dealing with an advanced modeling technique. So this one is just for CSWA. And I think that aspect of tolerance too is kind of, that's why in the questions you will notice that you normally put your answers should fall between 0.01%, 0.05%. I can't really get, because they know that nobody is perfect too. So you have to work towards a particular tolerance. That's why they normally give that understanding. Like this one now that I said, okay, maybe 158 point. Let me check again. 158.28. No, the original one was 158.28, which is the correct answer. So if you enter something like 158.29, if you do the calculation to determine the percentage error, you notice that it's very, very low. So they might mark it as correct for you. But sometimes you're going to add something that they get it wrong. So that's why you guys should always work towards precision. Precision is very important in engineering general. So can we move on to the next part of our meeting? So can we move on? I beg, I think I'll need an oral confirmation from you guys, verbal confirmation. Okay, okay. Thank you, Olatunde Muiz. Thank you for joining. I didn't even know you were here. Okay, so let's move on to the next segment of our lecture. So since we are done with this, did we save us? Okay, we've been saving us, but it's seems as if each of them is saving as um I think this save as stuff is supposed to be save as and continue. Let me check first. There was save as copy and open. I think that is what I should have been selecting myself. But it doesn't matter. It's to show that your Q1 is still your Q1, your Q2 is your Q2. It should be save as copy and open. Please take note of that. If you save as copy, if you save this one as copy and open now, that means you are working with the latest. Let us say this one is keep for now and save. That means you are working with the latest one. That is, you notice that it's queued for here now. So please keep the. It will now give you options for keep the original document open or close it. It's good to always close the original document. You can now go back to your recent, and it will show them there. So please, let's all take. Let me even just check. Save as copy and open. Open. Please, please take note to everybody. Save as copy.
Please, can you come again with the saving?
Okay, I said save as copy and continue. If you save as copy as continue, it will always, like, maybe anyone you are done with and you don't want to work with again, maybe you've already checked your answer, then you can now save as copy. But don't use that. It's always very advisable. I made a mistake. It should have been save as, then you select the option of save as copy and open. You want to save your current work as the current one, then open it. Then you do that, it will now give you option. Like, let's say it's Q5 now. Save it. It will save it as, it will give you this option, original document or what, close the original document. Always close the original document, because if you flood your work with too much this thing and click on this don't show again. Do you get now, Manila?
Yes, yes, thank you.
Okay, okay, okay. Let's just close this now. let's just go back to our slides. So let's go back to the next section. So very just it is. So part modification. Part modification is they've already given you a model. They'll ask you to download a particular file. So to make your work easier, once you start the question, make sure you go back to all go check each and every question. There will be a part given for a particular segment or a section. So make sure you download all those parts first. Download them with the flash drive, then put it in the, inside the computer that you are working with, that is where you are going to be doing your model. If you are using two pieces, save it in a flash drive and what send it directly to the part, because you are going to make use of it with the computer you are using to model itself. Do you get? So make sure that all those files are readily available before you even start, if possible. Make sure, because of time. So once you've already, they will give you a file. They will show you. They will ask you that okay, make a modification. Maybe that they want you to remove a particular aspect of the geometry. Maybe a fillet that they want you to remove and change it and put a chamfer. It may be that they want you to remove a rib and change it to a web. It may be that they just want you to change the geometry, like maybe a circular hole, you should convert it to a square hole or a rectangular hole. So you get, so those are the uh, that's what happens in part modification. So in part modification, you have to be very careful when you are doing it. You have to take your time to notice or observe the differences. Look at the previous image. That's why I said earlier, on the images shown, there will be other images at the bottom. So you select each of those images and notice the differences. You will put them side by side, front view versus front view, side view versus side view, plan versus plan. So you have to be very careful. So you spot the discrepancy between the original and the prospective model. The prospective model is what they want you to achieve. Then you change your unit, you modify the global variables. Sometimes the first question may just be change the fillet. So you just change and what ask for a mass. Some of they will change the fillet and they will now ask you to change the global variable. So you have to be very, 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 as I said earlier, I always read the questions very well. The drawing views to the right. Update the global variables using the values below, then find the mass of the parts in grams. Now this is the old model on the left hand side and this is the new model on the right hand side. As you can see in this one, they gave the change in the global variable, and this, so as you can see, the difference between this is that what they created a a cut and what an offset cut and what and filleted it. That is another thing that you should notice. They extrude cut and they filleted it. Which other part did they make changes? Studied very well. So these are not the two images. So this is another image for it. This is the previous dimensions and this is the new dimension. So look at this new one, this right hand side. Look at this F detail now. See this FZ detail. You go to this F detail now, you see that what they gave it a 1.5 all round what fillet. Now if you look at the section view and this G detail in the section view, You notice that what is extruded by what 1 mm, and what this 0.5 round. So round, you should be careful about rounds. Rounds are also gotten by fillet. Round means it's all round. 0.5, 5 all round. So this one is telling us now that the offsets from this original geometry is what 1.5. Then this other detail is now telling us that the extruded part, the depressed part is what by 1 mm, and it is also what filleted. So we've already noticed all the changes we require. So we just need to what, make sure we work towards getting the answers given. So now let's go to the model. So if you downloaded the model, extract is usually in zip file, extract it, save as. So as I've opened it here. So disregard. Can I do that? So they did it. Configurations are important too. Configuration means okay, already made changes to a particular part. You use the particular configuration and you want to create another, but you don't really need configure. You need configurations to appear in the question, but the part it will appear is that they will give you the file where the configurations are. They will now ask you to like compare and contrast and add a particular changes to know the value of the other one. So you get, but in CSWA, like what we did in the first part now, we could create configurations instead of doing saver. But because of the time factor, instead of creating configurations, several configurations, so just save as is the faster way, is the fastest way. Because I tried it for my first CSWP and I didn't pass it because of the time constraints. I was configuration, time to take to be rebuilding, and so just save your file as a new one. It's better that way to be safe. So now let's get to it. So the first thing we require to do is what? Offset. So let's be careful when we are offsetting. Come to the we are in sketch environment. Now the offsets that we're told to do is what? 1.5. Let's put at 1.5. I made the same mistake I made earlier again. This you are going to forgive me. Make sure it's in reverse. Save. And what is the mistake? If you are following me, you need that the material. I will confirm the material. The material here. I think the material is one. I should have added the material. I made a mistake. I should have added material. I should have added the reason why I didn't is not showing in my slide is because when I was editing this file, material and everything is there. So let me just so the material given is this material here. This AISI 4340 steel and it. So make sure you take note of the material and what equation. Like I said earlier, manage equation 112. 112 that is given here. Yeah, 112 So that one is done. That one is already changed. So uh, let's check our questions very well. Let's make sure that everything is okay. 1.5. So it's not give us any modification as a global variable. Let's just extrude. Don't do any filleting in your sketch environment that doesn't require. So let's just click on this extrude cuts. Extrude cut by what? By 1 mm and what? Fillet round. Let's go by 1 mm. Always use your middle mouse button to selected contour is delete. Let's do this that. So once you've done that, so once you've done that, so once you've done that, you now want fill it all around. How do you fill it all around? Come to your features. Oh, sorry, as I was saying earlier, you save us. Save as copy and open. Save as copy and open. So during training. So part modification. So let's just say this one maybe Q10. Save as copy and open. Let's see. So you can see that's changed. So now we now go to our fillets 0.5. How do you do that? As you can see, the fillet is, you can do this by selecting one side. Yeah, automatically it's able to off because what change selection is already is in effect. So you change to what 0.5. So let's be careful when we are doing this. I hope you guys are following. So let's check. You see, you selected just this part, just this symmetry, just this geometry. You didn't select these ones and these ones. So you have to like selecting them one after the other. Careful when you are doing that. So make sure everything is what highlighted. So all has been selected now, and what? Then you click enter. So another way of doing this, let me suppress this. Another thing is that you should know how to suppress some features. That sometimes you don't need something like it, especially in part modification. Sometimes you have to what, roll this your uh, history bar up to a certain level and start from there first before you do anything. When you are doing part modification, sometimes you have to just, you can start from maybe where you met it, like this one now where I met it, I'm starting from there. Then you have to roll up to a certain point before you can do some modification. Then you now roll back. Do you get it? Now let me suppress this fillet now and try another fillet method. So if you click on fillets, let me click on just this bottom side for 0 point. So it will select everything related to it. Then just, so since this one is already selected. Aha! See the difference now. You see, it selected this part and this hole too. It gave it that same fillet. So now let's check our question if it is required. According to our question, it is not required to fillet this way. So that means is the first one that is what's correct. The second one is not. Do you get? So let's be careful when doing that. Because if it was filleted, it will even indicate here part is going to be what curvy. Do you get? But it's a sharp hole. And it's what? I think this thing is done both top and bottom side. I didn't even notice it earlier. If you notice, this extrusion and fillet is for both sides. So let's just hope that it's what done symmetrically first. Like maybe the plane that they have, symmetrical plane is actually at the center of this object. So that means this one will have to be deleted and this one will be activated. So we've done the basic thing. It's just for us to what mirror to for it to reflect it. So let's check our planes first. These are front plane. Our top plane sit at the center. So you press your space bar to show you all your views. Which view do you want? Which view do you want to check? Is it your front? Is it your top? Is it your side? So you want to check our front now and click on our top plane. As you can see, it's actually at the center. So that means we can actually do our mirror. You just come to your mirror. So automatically it says that okay, your top plane is the mirror plane. While the feature to mirror, what is your feature to mirror? Feature to mirror is what? Cut extrude. This your cut extrude that you just did now with your fillet. You have to select two of them. Select the two of them when you are doing that. Careful when you are doing that. Because sometimes if you just do only just this top part and you check your mass, you notice that it's way higher than the one in the options. And it's not in the options that is very, very tricky. So you can't really know whether you are right or wrong. So when you save, you just need to save and we'll check our mass. S 94.41 pounds. As you can see, we are actually very correct. So So this program is supposed to end by 1 and we only have 30 minutes more. I don't think so. Let's check if we got the answer. So as you can see here, the mass 94.41. So let me just use this one to summarize what we've done so far. So do you guys understand what I've done so far? Any lap or anybody? Hello everybody.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Any question?
If you pass, what do you have for us?
What do you say?
If you pass the exam, what do you have for us? Any reward?
Oh wait. Okay, you said about the exam.
I said, if we pass the exam, what do you have for us? So, any reward?
Ah, your reward is your badge. You wear it proudly. You can even print it out on a shirt and walk around with
Ha,
it.
ha, ha.
Of course, this. Actually, okay. Let me tell you a a bit of a story of mine. So I went for an interview recently. I just finished my graduate program and everything. They were asking me question and question. I just told them. So it got to a point I was like, what do you think what makes you stand out from the rest of other mechanical designer or design engineers? And I said I'm certified as an expert. They were looking at me like, what is this one thing? I think the company they don't use SolidWorks. I don't want to talk about it, I don't want to mention names. So they were not like, all of them were saying one of them, their chief designer, he knows about SolidWorks, he knows about the certification, but he doesn't use it. I don't think it's certified. So he now had to like, are you sure? I was like, wow, this man out thing. I'm literally showing him my certificate because I printed mine out. That was very important to print your stuff out, print them out and keep them safe. So I was like showing them that out of them we were only six in Nigeria. So I know that I was one out of six certified experts and everything was like he's not sure. He had to call someone that he knows that uses SolidWorks. So that was not like the first question that when he was like, someone is here for an interview in our company. He said is this CSWE. I was not like, why is this guy having so much? I'm very confident of what I've achieved. So that one, the first question that one asked is the person from Unilag? Imagine. And the guy put it on the guy put it on speaker. So for you to even for the person that you are confirming from, for him to say the first thing that comes to his mind is the person from Unilag. He doesn't even need to ask any other question. Now say yes, it's from Unilag. And that's actually that because those people are actually so that's why this is opportunity. No matter where you are, not just in Unilag, your certifications matter. They are very important. Do your exam diligently, and pass it well, and what, keep your badge, keep your certificates. They are very important. It will help you along the way to make you stand out. I think I'm the only one that has certifications out of all the people that they interviewed that day. So imagine. So, and thank God they actually gave me employment after that day. So not too bad. So I digress. So any lab, you understand why it's important, why your badge is enough, and yeah,
Yes,
thank you.
yes.
So thank you very much, Olatunji. So it's very important. So, and I have said earlier, your solid work is just a tool, but it's not just a tool, it's more than a tool. It depends on who is using it. Some people, they are very creative. If they sketch for you, self, you will know that wow, this person is actually good. But how do you visualize it? You can't be showing your sketch and sketch everywhere. You are not Leonardo da Vinci. Though I'm not saying you should not try to emulate him, but it's very important to use these tools to work graphically. Why do you think these tools are important? It's to simplify, it's to make your work easier. Imagine trying to you guys are in Unilag, you know what I'm talking about. You went through carrying board now. So it's important. Those things are the foundations of what they use to create the software. All those your lines, all those your fillets, use carrying your pencil, using a particular pencil shade, a pencil grade to draw a line, all those kind of things is very, very important. And if you are, and I assure you, if you are good with all those things, you won't have issues with all this always. It will be like beans and cake to you guys. So this is why SolidWorks stand out from other softwares, yeah. Because other software is like, yes, they give you a box, you design the box, and you're like, okay, this is what you gave me. I design. Okay, how do you know that this box you actually did exactly what I told you to do? How do you know? The difference might be in the volume. The part that maybe your sketch may be very, very perfect, exactly, but your extrusion, is it what is given? Your revolve, is it the value given in the question? So all those kind of things, please be conversant. I know we did not really talk much about other features uh, like revolve, sweep, loft, and everything. But me, I feel that for you to want to take the exam, you are not just you've encountered several models, you've done several models. So this exam is just for you to like, yes, I know what I'm doing. So there are some parts, there are sometimes you just they'll take you back. They'll say, okay, instead of the way this part is now, let me just be there. So they may just say, instead of this key, that they'll just give you like maybe another geometry instead of just this square and circle stuff that you extruded through. Maybe another geometry they ask you to do. So how will you do that? You just come here, you what? You suppress it, then you do the necessary you want to do. Able people do that. As you can see, they did it along this side, so you should be facing this side. Let me see the 85. Okay, okay, from here onwards. Alright, so let's suppress. I hope you guys are following. So great sketch. So instead of the way they did their own, maybe my own is just a rectangle. Uh, and a half. dimensions. Remember, you have to to make your sketches fully range. You have to dimension. You have to finally constrain it and what. Make sure you use all your. I like using constraints. They were like this one. I want to make them equal. Instead of giving that one this thing, just make it equal. This every the value. So let's give it. Can see it's fully black. So dimensionally and positionally, it's fully constrained. Let's just do that. Extrude, cut, all true, true, the opposite dimension. So after you've now made the modification, then you now what? Bring everything back. We now ask you for what? The mass. So sometimes you have to just take time to digest the question. You will notice that you will get it very well. Spark communication requires you to calm down. The next session we're talking about. So let me just round up. Are you guys sure there? And if you have done this, remember, save as and continue. Save as and open. Sorry, save as and open. Save as copy and open. Save as copy and open. Q11 and B. Make sure you do this. Let's change. Like if you measure the mass of this one now, you know S. You see that it has changed 96.4 grams using same materials. And they may even ask you to what, change your words, your global variable. So always take notes. Your variable, your material, and your units. Very, very, very important. Those three are very, very important. So let's go to the next item, next slide. Uh, so summary of all that we've treated so far about past creation is what, read and digest the question very well. Make sure your units are chosen correctly. Please, your units are very important. This is like it actually applies to engineering in general, don't you think? Because ask questions. Questions are very important. What is the task given to you, engineer? Do this. This is what we want. Understand it very well. Then the unit. What unit are you using? Don't go and use inches for where you are supposed to use mm. Very, very key. Then the material. The material you are supposed to use. Uh, very, very important. Very, very important in engineering these days because we are supposed to use cast iron. If you want to use mild steel, you know there are two different materials. So to avoid failure, you have to make sure that all materials is done, like your research on materials is done with utmost care. Make sure that no material, you don't use the wrong material for a wrong job for your work too. So most of the material they ask you is just alloy steel, plain carbon, ABS. But take notes, make sure you check. And your IPS system might be an IPS system they give you and not an MMGS. IPS is inch, pound, second. So if from the answer they will ask you, okay, enter the value in two decimal places in pound. And pound is what? LB or LBS. Usually LB when it's below 1. When the value is below 1. When it is more than 1, if it is 1.1, it will be LBS. So take note and always save your work. So save as copy and open. always say, please always take notes. To save as copy and always be time conscious. Be very time conscious. Stay calm. Be calm when you're answering a question. Digest the question very well. Answer it. If you can't answer that question, you can go to another genre of question and answer it. Then and always know that you need to always make sure that you are done 20 or 30 minutes before the allotted time. 3 hours now they give you, but make sure you are done at most 2 hours 30 minutes so that you can use the remaining 30 minutes to just go over the questions to make sure that everything you've done is correct. All materials are applied well. Your units applied well. Your variables, your values, the required fillet size, required chamfer size. So I think that will be all for today. Thank you for your audience. Is there any other question pertaining to what we discussed so far? Oh wait, okay. There's a question here. Hafiz Saliu says, "Hey, how do we? Okay, how do one know if the cut extrude is not on the other side of the item described?" So this can be done by viewing all the, as I said earlier, the images provided. Make sure you view them. Right? Like looking at this now, from what is being displayed here, you notice that it's not indicated in this perspective model that is done at the that there's an extrude cut at the bottom. But how do you know this? By the second image. Look at this section view now. If you notice this detail, you see that what is highlighted there is expanded to show that what you are extruding. There's an impression. There's an extrude cut at the top. There's an extrude cut at the top here and at the bottom here. It's even indicated here. That's why they did not just do what the dimension is limited here. Imagine if they did just this your 0.5 to be in this side, you might not know. That's why they normally indicate it well for you. They normally zoom it out. You can also do your zooming in and out. So always take note of that. It's very, very key while you are modeling. So do you understand that, Mr. Hafiz? You understand this? Can you indicate if you understood what I just explained? You can answer yourself if possible, or you can just let me be answering. Olatunji, is it possible we get practice question in the, okay, the first part? Yeah. I'll send it to you after. I hope everybody here is present on our WhatsApp group. So I'm going to send it later. After I've done all the required modifications, obviously. So I'll send it to you guys. So any other question before we round up? Our session is supposed to end. Wait, is it? Are we supposed to end one or two? Let me check again. Please don't be alarmed. Sorry, come. Oh, it's to one. So we only have we only have uh 12 minutes to just round up. So Mr. Hafiz, Mr. Olatunji, I hope I've answered your question. Is there any other question I'm missing? Anybody? Hello? Ẹni ńlá ni Olúwa. Ìmídọ́pẹ́ Adébáyọ̀, thank you all for joining this session. Thank you for listening. Thank you for paying attention. I hope all that I've said so far is very comprehensive to you guys. So we will be ending the meeting officially by that one. I'll be waiting in case there's any other question from anybody. Any question? Ah, welcome. Okay, much appreciated, Enila. Thank you, future engineer Enila. Enila, please. I must see that your CSWA. Same goes to everybody else. Please don't. I'm not pressuring you, but I just know you will pass it. I know you will pass it. Our next session, sir, I think we should just do that one, maybe 2 days or something. But I'll speak to Bilal so that we can just cover up assembly. Assembly too is very important, very very key. So thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Face. Thank you, Temitope. I hope all of you understood clearly. Yeah, I can do this. So there are sometimes if you check your questions and you notice that maybe the dimensions are not correct, to check if all your dimensions are like conforming. SolidWorks is very very good with that because like now I want to know the dimension of this hole now. Instead of just looking for searching for sketch every time, I click on this hole now, it will give me the diameter. But I want to know the distance between this top and the bottom. I can just click on this line here and to give me the value of the length. That is 9 mm. You don't want to know the distance between one face and another or the angle. Like this one, this place now, I want to know the angle. Just click on this, holding your control key to give you the angle between them here at your bottom corner here. So that's another part for a quick, how would I put it? A quick fix, quick tips on how to do basic measuring. But if you want to actually know the measurement, you just come to your evaluate and you click on measure. Then you do the necessary. You see, like not really you stand between this face and this face now. Because some questions require you to just measure. Ah, she have said that earlier. Please don't be annoyed. So you know the distance. Say to even indicate it that okay, distance between this place and this face. The area to give you the area perimeter. For instance, it was 7 mm. Why is it 7 mm? Because we export at the top, which is 1 mm, and export at the bottom. So 9 minus 1 minus 1 is what 7. So you can use it to know the center of the length, tell you the perimeter. I click on the face now, this face. Tell you the always make sure you clear selection before you make any new measurements. Click on this and tell you the area, the perimeter, or you click out. So another thing you need to add to your shortcuts, you click on S, it was measure. Just click on this add. Upper, what do we need again? Explain. Let me see, maybe save as. Yeah, save as. Add that. So what else do you need? What else do you require? Section. The only section. Also, I hope you guys know how to use your section view and section. So you have to make sure you select the right like the one given in the question now. You click on this now and do compare and contrast. You notice that they're actually the same. So the one given in the question. Look at the question. I hope you guys are still there, oh, but I know I've already said it. As you can see, this detail G now. This is detail G. So you can always use your section commands to always know your section. It's very, very, very important. I hope you guys understood these last few things I just said. It's very important. Measuring, how to measure, and how to, yes, how to measure. Sometimes you may be asked to create, you want to turn off the section view, just click here. You click it on back, go back to the previous one, so you can see edit. So sometimes they ask you to add the reference geometry like the coordinate system to a particular part, and from there, in that coordinate system, use it to measure an actual value. And it can add, can be asked to create an axis, a plane. You know how to draw this one right now. So that will be all. Ladies, let me just assume it's plural of ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for. Hope there is no questions. Any voucher for exams? Actually, there is a current voucher going on now that I believe almost the whole SolidWorks community knows about. One of the students' free vouchers. I believe everybody signed up for those. So I think that is what most people are using to get certified currently. I must say I'm proud of our community, Lagos SWUG. Most of us are already getting way certified as an associate, a professional, uh, sheet metal, surfacing, and so on and so forth. So I must say I'm proud of it. Is this still happening? I I doubt it's available because they said the exam is ends December 31st, and I think it has been available for a week plus now, right? I don't know if can anyone confirm? And it's your student email that is required. So, so another thing I want to say about it's very important to always use a valid software, the correct software is very important. Please, like me now, as you can see from I'm using a student version, so they usually some so they usually give discounts at some certain period. I don't know if they're going to do it this year again or this December, but anytime the opportunity comes, try as possible. They've already even reduced the price to as little as $10, and I've done that I think twice now. So just try and usually use correction. So thank you very much, everybody. We'll be ending this session in the next 3 minutes. And I think I'll stop sharing. Oh, okay. It's still the Bevy link, Mr. Malik. Still this Bevy link you are going to use to get. We'll communicate that with you. Are you on the WhatsApp group? We'll communicate that with you later. Send the link for where you're going to get everything you need, the video. So thank you everybody. Thanks so much for attending. God bless you. Good luck in your exams. Good luck. no problem. So we'll get the link. Sorry. Thank you very much, Joseph. Thank you.